You know, as I listen to Skip, I think about the fact that within the state and nationally, we tend to have very effective outside organizations. And Brennan Grog is in New Hampshire, on the national scene, Breitbart, Daily Wire, Rush Limbaugh. There's a number of effective advocates for conservative which I think we do a better job there than the progressives do. And yet, inside an elected office and in controlling government and shaping the arc of government, we aren't as effective. And it's a problem we have to deal with in choosing when we choose how to conduct ourselves in an elected office, because if you adopt the choice that I did, then it tends to limit how long you can hold that office. We as conservatives and liberty-oriented people don't worship at the altar of government. One of the takeaways of having been at a position that was fairly senior in New Hampshire government is I found that those on the other side, the progressives, in fact do. And in fact, they make a choice that shows up in two different statistics that I'll mention to you. To be in government, stay in government, support those who are in government, sacrifice beliefs in order to continue in those positions. And let me give you those two kind of semi-statistics. One is that at one point when I was speaker and being very frustrated with my Republican colleagues who I was trying to get to vote on various legislation, and it'd have to be an argument over everything. I couldn't go to them and say, hey, come on, we want to do this. And say, well, you know. And so they're all thinking about it, and you had to reach them at that level to get them to go along with what we were trying to do. And yet, I would look over the other side, and they would rarely lose a state rep and a vote. And so I said, is this an impression that I'm holding because I'm in the middle of this battle and I'm feeling beleaguered, or is there some legitimacy to that? And so we went back and we looked at roll call votes for 3 legislative terms in which a majority of Republicans voted one way and a majority of Democrats voted different, the opposite in the same way. And we found the split was always 85% of the Republicans would be as part of that majority. Among the Democrats, it approached 99%. It was much more important to them to be organized and supportive of that organization than it was whether or not the issue was one they cared about or didn't care about. The other kind of semi-statistic or observation that we made is that, and I have this impression constantly reminded of me when I look across the room and see some of my former colleagues here. And we tend to leave. We tend to. I was there 5 terms. I just wanted to go after a while. I just, didn't want to do it anymore. I started a company, and I thought that'd be better for my family. It could be working, but also be more fun and more engaging. Others did the same thing. They stay up there forever, and they don't go away, and they are sent there. And I know it's a harsh statement to make, but they're sent there by those who need government to grow and be big and be well funded to be in that legislature. They're all in New Hampshire, and I don't want to disparage it because I really do admire the first responders and all, but a lot of firemen, firefighters, a lot of police officers, a lot of people working for nonprofits. In New Hampshire, we have this nonprofit community that basically is an extension of government. You look at all their sources of revenue. It's not that they're going out to the supermarket with a tin cup. They're in fact getting money put into the budget, and 100% of the money comes from the state. to perform things that bureaucracy otherwise would be doing or shouldn't be doing. And their employees, their officials are elected. You know, we currently have in New Hampshire in the State House the head of the AFL-CIO, New Hampshire chapter of the AFL-CIO, for example. He's not there to make sure that gun rights are being protected or to think about that issue. He's not there to figure out what's best 50 years from now for the people of New Hampshire in terms of government involvement or is this regular. He's there to grow government. And both because of the fact that he's being financed to be there, as well as because that's his life, as opposed to somebody like me that just gets irritated over something I read about what's going on in Concord and say, well, I'll go run for the state legislature, and then get tired after 5 terms. And it's a problem we deal with, and you know, maybe more outside than in because we don't have the ability to play the end game well. I'm not sure.
Quick story that tags on to that. Again, I'm on my town budget committee, and every single budget here in New Hampshire, and this tags off one of our means of if the politics is happening in my town, it's probably happening in your town as well. But at the end of every budget season, you have these NGOs, non-governmental organizations or service organizations, coming to the trough and saying, we want to do more for your town, but we need your money in order to do it. Now, some towns will embed it directly into the budget. We finally got it so that they had to be by petition warrant, and we also got the school board and the select board and the budget committee to say, we're recommending no, this is for all of this, just so that the people will make the decision. One time, one of them was trying so hard, and she looked at me and said, why are you making this so hard for us? We're just a part of government too. And I went, really? I can't believe you just said that. So you want our money, and you're part of government. Does that mean you're going to give me your books? You're going to open up your books to me so I can go over them and we can do votes on your budget, just like we do all the departments here in town? No. And she literally got up in a huff, walked out, and I've never seen her again. The problem is that we can say no more hands-on. It's hard for politicians to do that. They tried it in Belknap County, and you thought that somebody had on the commission had slit everybody in an NGO's organization, slit their throats. Death, destruction, and everything else. It's sort of like, you know, net neutrality. Well, it's gone, and we're still all here. It takes pushback. It takes a lot of courage. So being on the outside, not only do we attack people, but we have another saying. When you're wrong, we spank you, but if you do right, we thank you as well. And there are times when we do have to thank politicians and support those politicians when they make the right decisions in the case of the full outrage by the left. Because too many politicians are going to say, well, that's the public opinion. No, that's sort of like the 1% of Twitter that makes the headlines, and only 5% of the population's on Twitter. We have to help them understand what the context of the pushback is. We also have to let them know we are going to support you as well. And being on the outside, we can do that because we can activate our leadership to say, you know, he lives in your area, she lives over there. Send them an email, send them a tweet. Vote for them. Help their campaigns if they're going to run again. Let them know. And this is really what it comes down to, because I think a lot of people on the right are too scared to stand up for themselves. Let them know you're not alone. And unfortunately, the Democrats, as Bill said, with their stacking of their votes, we have too many Republicans who are too fearful of the opposition and too fearful of the media. To which I say, you ought to be scared of us first. And that's the power, not so much I'm power hungry. I'm a reluctant believer in what Steve McDonald came up with for our tagline, dominating the political atmosphere in New Hampshire. He said that years before it actually happened. I'm just, as the owner, being there all 13 years, I'm just starting to realize we need to use Granite Rock as an external force to keep the political entities in place. Now, again, I'm not just the external, I'm on the inside as well with the budget committee. But I can use both of those entities because I don't care if I get reelected again. I can use both avenues to make change for the good. And I think that's a power that perhaps not enough politicians use. Become your own external force, as well as working on the inside. Now, I can say the budget committee had very good success putting legislation into the hopper this past year to strengthen budget committees. I was a complete zero. I lost badly when it came to the committee vote. So I understand what it means to be on the inside, trying to marshal that through. I learned a lot of lessons from that. It was really just a technical change. But because of the external pressure I had put on a lot of these people, they saw it as payback, Skip. So there are dangers to being on the outside. But then again, they may not all be there. I will be there next term, and the term after that, and the term after that. We can keep that pressure on.
Crop TV.